I used your college fund for my dream house. Madison's voice dripped with satisfaction as it came through the phone. You're never going back to finish that degree anyway. It's time you grew up and faced reality. I tightened my grip on the edge of the walnut island in my Manhattan loft, the cool, polished surface steadying me as her words settled in. The $800,000 fund my grandparents had left for me, gone, or at least that's what she believed. Interesting, I replied calmly. And how exactly did you pull that off? My name is Olivia Grant, and at 35. I've spent the past decade building a successful financial consulting firm while quietly preparing to return to law school, a dream I had no intention of giving up. What my sister-in-law Madison didn't realize was that I had anticipated something like this from the moment she swept into my brother Ethan's life last summer. Oh, it wasn't hard, she said smoothly, though there was a hint of irritation at my lack of reaction. Ethan still had access to the account your grandparents set up. All it took was his signature. And the house, by the way, is gorgeous. A much better investment than chasing some pointless law school fantasy. I could practically see her smirk, standing beneath some over-the-top chandelier she'd no doubt already shown off online. Madison had arrived like a whirlwind, married my brother within 3 months, and quickly began asking oddly specific questions about our family's finances during casual Sunday brunches. Well, thanks for the update, I said as I powered on my laptop. I hope you enjoy the house. That's it, she snapped, her tone sharpening. No anger, no panic, come on, Olivia. At least pretend you care. I ended the call without another word. A second later, the email I had been waiting for lit up my screen, confirmation from my attorney. The transfer attempt had been blocked. The money had already been moved into a protected trust weeks earlier, fully under my control. Grandma had always said, plan for storms before they arrive. She built everything she had from nothing, and she made sure I learned how to protect what mattered. The moment Madison started showing too much interest, I followed that advice. I dialed my attorney, keeping my voice steady. Hi, Rachel, I just got the call. Everything's documented, she replied. Every forged document, every timestamp. It's airtight, perfect. Madison thought she had secured her dream home. What she had actually done was step straight into a legal disaster. Your brother's signature appears to have been manipulated, Rachel continued. Do you want to press charges? I paused, the weight of that question settling in. I thought about Ethan, my older brother, the one who used to stand up for me when we were kids growing up in Brooklyn. He had been my protector, my shield during the worst parts of our parents' divorce when I was barely 13. And now he was tied to someone who made those childhood struggles seem simple in comparison. Not yet, I said finally. Let's wait. I want to see what Madison does when she realizes the transfer didn't go through, after the call ended. I walked into my home office in my Upper East Side apartment and opened the bottom drawer of my filing cabinet. Inside was a thick folder labeled Grandma's letters. I pulled out the most recent one, written 2 years earlier, just weeks before she passed. My dearest Olivia, I'm leaving you this money because I believe in your dream. The law isn't just a career for you, it's a calling. Don't let anyone tell you it's too late. And most importantly, don't let anyone take this opportunity from you. You're smarter than they think. Love, Grandma. I traced her signature gently, remembering how she had taught me handwriting analysis when I was 12. That skill was exactly how I noticed the inconsistencies in Ethan's forged signature on the withdrawal documents Madison had submitted. My phone buzzed again, a message from Ethan. Hey Liv, Madison's really excited about the house. I know the money was meant for your law degree, but you already have a great career. Family should support each other, right? My chest tightened. Ethan had always struggled with money, always looking for shortcuts instead of stability, and Madison had clearly recognized that weakness from the start. Another message came through. The realtor needs the funds by Friday. You're not upset, are you? I typed out a reply, then erased it. Silence would be far more powerful. Let them sit with it when their plans begin to fall apart. A soft notification pulled my attention back to my computer. An email from Columbia Law confirming my final interview scheduled for next week. The money wasn't sitting unused. It was actively building the future I had been quietly working toward, balancing night classes while running my firm. I walked over and opened the blinds, watching the Manhattan skyline glow in the fading light. Madison thought she had won with her forged paperwork and smug confidence. She had no idea she had just set the stage for her own downfall. My grandmother's voice echoed in my mind. Sometimes the best revenge is letting people believe they've won right until they realize they've trapped themselves. Friday was only 3 days away. I wondered what explanation Madison would give when the money never showed up. More importantly, how she would explain to Ethan that she had tried to steal from his own sister. I picked up my phone and texted Rachel, "Send me everything you've documented. I want to be prepared when this unravels." Then I turned back to my Columbia Law application, a faint smile forming. Madison thought she had destroyed my future. Instead, she was about to learn exactly what happens when you underestimate the quiet one in the family. By Friday morning, my phone was flooded with frantic messages. "The bank says the transfer didn't go through. What did you do? You think you're so smart." Ethan is devastated. "How could you do this to your own brother?" I took a slow sip of my coffee, calmly scrolling through the files Rachel had sent me, every attempted withdrawal, every forged signature. Even recordings of Madison trying to pretend to be me over the phone. Then my phone rang. "Ethan, Olivia, we need to talk." His voice cracked with tension. "Madison says there's an issue with the transfer." "There is," I replied evenly. "Want to know what really happened or keep pretending your wife didn't just try to steal from me?" Dead silence, then weakly. "Wasn't stealing. I signed the papers. We're family." "Did you actually sign them, Ethan, or did Madison slip you a different set after showing you fake documents?" Another pause. I could hear the pieces falling into place. "Come over," he finally said. "Please, I need to understand." An hour later, I sat in their glossy new living room, laptop open. Madison paced like a caged tiger, heels clicking against the hardwood she'd bullied Ethan into installing. "As you can see," I said coolly, pulling up the digital files. "These signatures don't match your handwriting." The bank's fraud team flagged it immediately. "You had no right to lock that money away," Madison snapped, her voice shrill. "It was just sitting there while you played pretend about law school. We needed it." "Needed it?" I arched a brow. "For a house or for control?" If you want to see how I turned this confrontation into the ultimate twist, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. The next part will leave you speechless. For what? A 5-bedroom house you can't afford, another closet of designer clothes, or was it to cover the gambling debts you've been hiding from Ethan? Madison froze. Her perfect tan seemed to drain in seconds. Ethan's head snapped toward her, but gambling debts. His voice was low, dangerous. I clicked open another file on my laptop, a credit report Rachel had pulled during our investigation. "Your wife has been busy, Ethan. 3 maxed-out credit cards, 2 personal loans, and regular withdrawals from the Golden Crown Casino." I let the words sink in before adding, "Did you wonder why she was suddenly so interested in my law school fund?" Madison's composure shattered. "You had no right to look into my finances." "Actually," I said, my tone icy, "I had every right. You tried to steal from me. Did you really think I wouldn't protect myself?" Ethan sank into the couch, his face gray. "Madison, is this true?" "The gambling, it's not what you think," she stammered. "I had a system. I was going to win it back. The house would fix everything," I cut in. "Or give you something to reorgorgage when the casinos bled you dry." "How much?" Ethan's voice cracked. "How much do you owe?" Her silence screamed louder than words. "Over $200,000, I said, for her." "That's just what we've traced." Ethan dropped his head into his hands. His shoulders trembled. "Get out," he whispered. "Baby, please get out." His roar shook the room. "You forged my signature. You tried to steal from my sister, and you've been gambling away our life. Get out." Madison snatched her purse, mascara streaking her face. "Fine, but don't think this is over." The door slammed like a gunshot. Ethan collapsed back into the couch, voice breaking. "I'm sorry, Liv, I should have listened when you said something felt off. I just wanted to believe someone could love me like that." I sat beside him and slid an envelope across the table. "Here, you'll need this. What is it?" "Contact for a divorce lawyer and proof Madison planned this from the start." Side texts bragging about marrying into money. Casino receipts dating back before their wedding and transfers to offshore accounts. "She never loved me, did she?" he whispered. "No," I said softly. "But now you know the truth." "But that's not on you," I said softly. "She's a con artist, Ethan. She's done this before." His head jerked up. "What?" I slid the final document across the coffee table. A police report from 3 years ago. Another marriage, another theft, another family left in ruins. She vanished before charges could stick. Changed her name, moved here, and found her next target. "You?" Ethan stared at the page, silent for what felt like minutes. Finally, he looked up, voice hollow. "The law fund, is it safe?" I nodded. "Grandma taught me." "Well, the money's been in a secure trust for weeks. Every attempt Madison made was blocked and logged. We have everything we need to press charges." His jaw tightened. "Do it." "Press charges? All of it? I'll testify, whatever you need." "She's not doing this to anyone else." I hugged him, feeling his shoulders tremble with a mix of rage and grief. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I was supposed to protect you, not put you in danger." "You did," I said gently. "Back then you protected me. Let me protect you now." My phone buzzed, a text from Rachel. "The police are ready. Madison's previous victims are on board. This will stick." Ethan exhaled as if years of hope and humiliation were leaving his body. "What happens now?" "Now," I said, "we make sure Madison never cons another family." And then I smiled faintly. "I've got a law school interview to crush." For the first time all day, Ethan's mouth curved into something like hope. "You're really doing it, becoming an attorney? That's what the money was for. That's what Grandma wanted." He nodded slowly, eyes glistening. "She'd be proud of you, not just for catching Madison, but for never giving up on your dream. And she'd be proud of you," I said softly, "for facing the truth even when it hurts." Outside, thunder cracked over Manhattan, the storm rolling in as if echoing Madison's downfall. Somewhere out there, she was scrambling, unaware her game was over. 2 months later, I adjusted my blazer in front of the mirror, Columbia Law's crest gleaming on my acceptance folder. Today wasn't just about my future, it was about justice. "Ready?" Ethan asked from the doorway. He looked better, lighter somehow now that the shadows under his eyes were fading. The divorce papers had been filed the day after Madison's schemes blew apart. "Ready?" I confirmed, grabbing my leather briefcase. The courthouse buzzed with voices, but it wasn't just us. 3 other families sat in the gallery, victims of Madison's previous cons, different names every time. Madison Lee, Morgan Wells, Marie Walker, same playbook, marry fast, sniff out assets. Forge signatures, drain accounts, vanish. "You don't have to testify," I whispered as we sat. "Rachel can handle everything." "No," Ethan said firmly, "I need to face her. We all do." When Madison entered, flanked by 2 officers, her designer wardrobe had been traded for an orange jumpsuit. She'd been arrested at JFK 3 weeks ago with a fake passport and $50 in cash. Gone was the smug smile I remembered from that phone call, replaced by panic when her eyes met the families waiting for her. The hearing moved fast. Rachel presented the evidence with surgical precision. Forged documents, gambling debts, wire transfers to offshore accounts, and Madison's fraud trail across 3 states. Each family stood recounting almost identical betrayals. Trust shattered, lives nearly ruined. When Ethan testified, his voice didn't shake. "She made me believe I'd found love," he said. "Instead, I almost helped her steal my sister's future." That fund wasn't just money, it was a promise from her grandmother, a dream Olivia never gave up on. "Madison doesn't just steal cash, she steals hope." I squeezed his hand as he returned. Then it was my turn. Unlike some of Madison's victims, I began, voice steady. "I was lucky. My grandmother taught me to trust my instincts, to document everything. She left me more than an education fund, She left me a lesson: protect what matters. Today isn't revenge, it's accountability. So no one else loses what we almost did. The judge's verdict was swift: guilty on all counts. 5 years in prison, restitution to every victim, no early release. As they led her away, Madison spat over her shoulder. You think this changes anything? You'll never make it as a lawyer, you'll fail, and I'll be out before you finish your first year. I smiled faintly. We'll see about that. I smiled, hearing my grandmother's words in my head. Let them think they've won until they realize you were 10 steps ahead. I replied evenly, meeting Madison's glare. I start law school next month. Your little stunt didn't break me, it made me stronger. I leaned closer, my voice calm but sharp as glass. So thank you, Madison. You taught me the best revenge isn't payback, it's thriving in spite of people like you. Outside the courthouse, Ethan walked beside me, silent for a moment before saying, I found her ring. The engagement ring I worked overtime for, saved for months. It's fake, just like everything else. Sell it, I suggested, put it toward a fresh start. He shook his head and pressed the small velvet box into my hand. No, I want you to have it. Sell it, add it to your fund. Turn something that symbolized her lies into something good. That evening, I sat in my office overlooking the Manhattan skyline. Beside my laptop lay a photo of Grandma, her smile as warm as the day she taught me to trust my instincts. Next to it, a letter from Columbia Law embossed in gold. Accepted. My phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. Thank you for never giving up on me, even when I couldn't see the truth. I smiled softly, thinking how different this could have ended if I hadn't listened to Grandma's lessons. Madison had pegged me as naive, too focused on books to notice her schemes. But instead, she ran into someone prepared, someone who refused to let her steal a future built on hard work. I picked up my navy moose suit jacket, brushing a hand over the embroidered name inside. Olivia Grant, JD candidate. Sometimes victory isn't just keeping what's yours. It's proving to yourself and everyone else that no storm can shake your foundation when you know who you are. As for Madison, she'd have 5 years in prison to reflect on how her greed led her straight into a cell. Meanwhile, the quiet sister she underestimated was walking into the halls of Columbia Law, building a career on truth and justice. What would you have done in my place? Would you have stayed silent or fought back? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I read every single one. Your support means everything to me, especially after everything I went through. If you believe in standing up for yourself, in protecting your dreams no matter who tries to take them away, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. And here's my advice. Never underestimate the power of preparation. Trust your instincts, guard what matters, and remember, sometimes the best revenge is living the life they swore you couldn't.